Welcome to my Hebrew channel, Mila Braika. Today I'm looking at a little phrase or a proclamation or teaching that the Apostle Paul gives to us in the book of Romans. But it's something that he pulls from the book of Deuteronomy. So all of Paul's teachings were very much based on teachings of the Old Testament. And so we're going to look at the comparison of where we see it in Deuteronomy, where we see it in the book of Romans. And he makes a very interesting use of what's there in Deuteronomy. He makes numerous adaptations. It's hard to call it translation. It's basically a running interpretation of what's happening there, with a very interesting twist to it. A very interesting insertion, or a very interesting understanding of what's happening there. Okay, that's. I looked at it numerous times and did a lot of deep meditation on it. So as it turns out, it's very interesting. So let's stick with the study and go to Deuteronomy. We'll start with Deuteronomy 30, verse 11. This commandment that I command you today is not too hard for you, neither is it far off. So, ki ha mishva, okay, ha mishva, hazot asher anochi mishvavecha hayom lo nifalet hi memecha velo rechoka hi. This is this commandment. Now, this mishvah, hamishvah, very well known in modern Jewish circles, of course, because it's bar mitzvah. When the young Hebrew boy learns enough Torah to recite it in public, then he enjoys the bar mitzvah, and that actually brings him to a full adult. So this is the son. Bar is actually Aramaic, son of the commandment. So there's a bar mitzvah, and this is it, mitzvah. And this is what this commandment. Now I'm singling this one out because this follows on through the next three verses, and we'll see how it works through all of that through the next few verses. Lo beshamayim hi lemor mi ya'ale lanu hashemayim ve'yekacheha lanu ve'yishamichne echnu otach ve'na'asheni sheina. It's not in heaven. Okay, lo beshamayim he it. Now this is a hamishvah. Okay, this is so if this is independent pronoun. Look for the antecedent of this independent pronoun. We're talking about the hamishvah. Okay. Now the Apostle Paul makes a very interesting interpretation of mitzvah here, and we'll get to that. Very interesting. So by mitzvah, he, it, she. It's actually she. It's feminine because mitzvah is a feminine. But we shouldn't pay too much attention to that here. It's just simply the commandment. Okay. Mitzvah, Torah, by the way, is also feminine. So he, lemor, saying, okay, it says you should say, but just simply a neutral saying. Me, who, it's a rhetorical question now. Ya'ala will go for us, lanu, for us. Hashemayim, okay, directional hey at the end of Shemaya. Shamayma, who will go to the heavens, towards the heavens, directional hey. Ve'yikacha, and will take it. Okay, so this is take it. That's antecedent of this pronoun here, subject pronoun, is again mishvah. Lanu, for us. Mi enu, and who will make us hear it. Okay, this is a hifo reflexive. Who will make us hear it. Ata, to it. Yeah, we will hear it. Again, the mitzvah. The antecedent of this pronoun again is ha mitzvah. Ve'nashiena, and that we would do it. Okay, this is, and again, the reference here, ha mitzvah, who we would do this mitzvah. Okay. Neither is it beyond the sea that we should say, who will go over the sea for us, bring it to us, that we may hear it. Now, the Apostle Paul quotes very correctly the first, or not, actually a small portion of Deuteronomy 30, verse 12. And here, verse 30, verse 13, he takes 30, verse 13 and adapts it in a big way, so much so you can hardly recognize what happened to it. So, Velo me'aver layam, and those who do not cross we could not cross the sea, the ocean. He, for it, okay? Lemor saying, Mi yaver lenu al haver hayam, who would cross for us over across the sea, okay? So this is this is the verb here. This is the noun here, across the sea, crossing the sea. Yeah. Yakacha, and then to take it. Again, we saw this from the previous verse as well, going up into the heavens, and this one's crossing the sea. Reminds us a lot about the only prophet that ever dared go across the sea and it turned into total disaster was Jonah, but we'll get to that. So, Yakacha lanu, and then takes it for us. But Yeshiminenu, then we'll make it here to us, ota, it, le neshanu, for us to do it, okay? And then we will be hearing it, and then hear it, and then we will be doing it, should do it. So in Deuteronomy, Moses has posited two things: who's going up into heaven to look for the word and bring it to us so we will do it, or who's going to go to the farthest ends of the ocean to bring it to us to do it. And he says, no, you don't have to go that far. Whereas it's near you, it's in you, it's in your mouth. Okay? But the word is very near you. Now, he swaps out mishvah to devar. Okay? Devar is the word, the spoken word, also the action word. So this is a commandment, and then in its place we see, but very much in parallel to hamishvah, we see hadavar, okay, the word. But the word is very near you. It's in your mouth, in your heart, so that you can do it. Ki karov elecha hadavar meod, beficha, in your mouth, ube lebecha, and in your heart, leashot, in order to do it. Okay? This is lamed of proposition, lamed of purpose in front of construct infinitive, that you will do it. You should do it. Okay? It's a sense of purpose, the purpose of doing it. Okay? So, lekarov halechecha hadavar meod. And this is karov. Incidentally, this particular modifier modifies just how close it is. Very close to you. Okay, this word, so very near you. Karov. Now I also have to include Jonah here. Jonah 2 verse 6 is a prayer of Jonah. Jonah, of course, has been thrown off the boat into the ocean, and the Lord has saved him through the whale. And in the whale, he has this prayer. Okay. Wow, what happened to me? Oh no! It's time of reflection over how violent things have become. So, well, he's in a very bad place. Okay. So, sank to the foundations of the mountains. The earth with its prison bars closed behind me forever. Unfortunately, it's just simply 3 days, but you raised my life from the abyss, Jehovah, my God. So, le kishve, this is the foundations. Harim, no article here. Harim, just of the mountains. Yarad ti, I descended, I went down. Again, the Yod Resh Dalet. Just remember this through the Jordan, which descends, okay? Yarad-hi, I descended. Ha'aretz, okay, the earth. Bericheha, with its bars. And so this is a mnemonic here. You can just remember it, bars, okay? Baricheha, same betresh and have in English as well. Bars might even be derived from. So Baricheha, Beod, forever. And around it, okay, be'adi, around me, le'olam, forever, okay, around me forever, be'adi, le'olam. Wow, now, Atma right here is keeping this section separate. But, and then since this is a contrast here, but, yeah, ta'ale, you have lifted up, Allah is to bring up, raise up, push up into a higher realm, and so, okay, ta'ala. Mishhat, okay, from destruction. Shachat is destruction. It's a place in which all the dead people got tossed down into the bottom of this thing. It's the place that of rotting things, okay. Mishachat, okay, the destruction, desolation. So, Mishachat, hi, You've lifted up from destruction, from the abyss. Hai, my life. Yehovah, Elohai, Jehovah, my God. Okay? This is what Jehovah has done for me. Now we get to Romans 10, verse 6 through 9. But the righteousness based on faith says, do not say in your heart. Now this is a rhetorical question that we pull from Deuteronomy 30, and just to pulls a very small section of who will ascend into heaven. That is to bring Christ down. Now in Deuteronomy 30, it was to bring the mishvah down. Okay, bar mitzvah. The mitzvah will be coming down to us, and the teaching, the commandment will come to us. And the Apostle Paul here identifies that mishvah as Christ. Okay, the mishvah for him is the Christ. That is the commanding word of God. That is the Christ. That's who will go to heaven to bring Christ down. And then next, the rhetorical question, or who will descend into the abyss? That is to bring Christ up from the dead. And you go, oh, by the way, if you remember Deuteronomy 30, this next section here was simply who's going to cross the ocean and who's going to bring the mitzvah back. But again, the same thinking as to the mitzvah, what happens to it is Christ being brought up from the dead. Now, this is very much the sign of Jonah. In other words, when God wants to restore somebody who has died, he brings them up from the dead. And it's very much only the power of Jehovah can accomplish this. He's the only one that can do that. And it helps us explain a lot of what Jesus was teaching in Matthew. He just says, you're asking for a sign, but the only sign I'm going to give to you is the sign of Jonah. That's it. And, okay. What is that? The ability to pull somebody out of, as what happened to Jonah, to pull him out of the belly of a fish and throw him on a seashore. That's what the ability to pull somebody who is either symbolically or in reality dead in the ocean, in the abyss, down at the bottom of everything, to pull him out of there and throw him onto a seashore and send him on his way onto a ministry. So, very powerful concept as to what the sign of Jonah is the ability to yank you out of the abyss and put you on your feet and send you on your way into ministry. And then so the Apostle Paul here keeps quoting, but what does it say? The word is near you. Now, remember, go back into Deuteronomy 30, and we switch from mitzvah, ha-mitzvah, to hadabar, okay? And this then is referenced in here, the dabar, okay? The word is near you, in your mouth and in your heart. That is the word of faith that we proclaim, because if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. That is, if you believe in your heart that God carried out the sign of Jonah on Jesus. In other words, so when Jesus was in his ministry, he said, okay, there's one sign I will give to you, I'll give you the sign of Jonah. And in the way people understood what had happened to Jonah, later on as history moved forward and Jesus was pulled from the grave, stone was rolled away, angels appearing and announcing it and so forth. The people had to remember what he had said. What did he say? Oh, he said, sign of Jonah, third day. You're 3 days in the grave, 3 days in the belly of the whale. You're pulled out and you're sent into ministry. And this is the sign that, of course, Jesus gave to us. And so it allows us to understand a little bit more of to what the sign of Jonah was, because Paul uses this concept also here in Romans 10 to say, hey, he's pulling us from the abyss, and then he's brought Christ up from the dead, and we must then go into ministry and proclaim that with our mouths. So may God bless, and may you also be involved with proclaiming this reality of the sign of Jonah.